You are exhausted. How did you end up in this insane situation? All you did was branch off from the miners to pick a few gemstones out of the cave walls for yourself. Sure, it wasn't exactly an honest thing to do, and they did warn you to stay within the designated tunnels. But even you needed a break from all the noise of the equipment all around. But when that little cloven-hoofed dwarf came out of the wall, like leaping out of stone as if it were simply water, binding your hands with a rope made of iron, of all things, well, none of that was expected. And now, once a week, for weeks on end, you dance. But it's no ordinary dance, because you have no choice. And every week the exhaustion increases, and every week you feel like you will slip away. You've watched others dance themselves to death, and you are sure you will be next. Beware the beating of drums and stone.
Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This, a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them. Hey there, creatures, and welcome to our last and final, episode in Fapril for 2021. I am your host, James Big Hair Kid, and today, taking us through Korreds on Vola's Guide to Monsters, page 168, is the wonderful Freeman attuned to the Earth Eiston.
Tell me, James, do you know anything about Korreds?
I don't think I do, but they look hella cool.
Let's talk about the pictures first. As I don't think my notes cover their physical stature too well. Okay. But there's an interesting variety in these pictures. The Tui is very stark.
Yeah.
Very long, wiry hair. It looks like he's leaning on his staff club.
Shillelagh. I would have just outright assumed, based on the pen and ink drawing, that was one-y.
Oh, yeah. No, as far as I know, it was 2E. Off the top of my head, I feel like they started in 2E, but to be fair, 1E and 2E sometimes does share artwork that I have found in the past. So some of it just kind of, crossed over. But 2E has a fair amount of the pen and ink itself. Next up is 4E. It seems to have skipped 3E, and I feel like as soon as I said I didn't like the 4E art, we just kept finding art that I liked in 4E.
That's just a dwarf, is what that is.
I mean, so this one I feel is not very representative of the creature. I kind of think it's a cool picture, is what I will say. I do think it's a good piece of art. It's not super representative of what Korreds seem to be. It is and it isn't, but you'll know what I mean as we go forward. They are known for this trademark long hair and long beard. They are known for carrying a club. They are particularly known for having goat or cloven-hooved feet and legs. Right. In this picture, they do not. So it's very left field in that regard. But the 5e art is kind of hilarious. They kind of look like they have not necessarily dreadlocks, but just very thickly locked hair.
Yeah.
And a very billowy beard. Billowy? Downy? Maybe? I don't know.
It definitely looks thick, I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is... they almost look like an offshoot of the Dwargar based on their skin tone in 5e. It's very stone-esque.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's actually a very important thing to note. is the stone resemblance, because that's going to be a major theme with these creatures.
Oh, is it? You could not
It
tell
is.
through the other editions.
Not at all. I mean, the pen and ink does not give anything away. The 4E is honestly, I mean, at least as the 5E lore goes, and what I picked up from the Forgotten Realms wiki and other sources, the 4E art is straight up a straight up misrepresentation. I did not
pretty sure
read
it's just
the
a
4E.
dwarf.
Yeah, I did not read the 4E creature lore or stat block or anything, but just aesthetically does not make sense. So basically, they are short in stature. They have big manes of hair, big beards, and cloven hooves, goat-like legs that very satyr-esque. Just in the bottom half, which is not surprising, them being fey. Let's. Oh, I see you just had another pen and inking drawing you found for 1E. I didn't see that one. But the same, though.
Took some digging, but I found it. It does not look a whole lot different than the 2E one, I'll tell you that.
No, it really doesn't. Yeah. Just like a different perspective. Or
It really is, yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about Korreds.
Yeah,
They are-
take them away.
They are secretive and unpredictable fae, which, I don't know, not very surprising. And they are strongly tied to earth and stone. Those who seek out treasures beneath the earth often seek out a Korred for their mystical understanding of minerals. These creatures are short, gray-skinned, and very hairy. Both males and females actually grow large beards and manes of hair, making it very difficult to distinguish between them. And Korreds prefer to keep the company of their own kind, though sometimes they are known to consort with earthen elementals like the Galeb Dur, a creature that I think would be really fun to cover in the near future. Tribes of Korreds are known to exist. So they again keep the company of their own kind, and they hold weekly ceremonial gatherings of dancing and drumming the stone around them with their hooves and their clubs. And while they are more likely to run away from strange creatures, so seeking them it's not easy because they will just kind of hightail it. They are quick to turn aggressive if they feel as though they've been insulted, or if they become annoyed and irritated by the sounds of constant mining nearby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're a little bit ornery, a little bit easily annoyed. So they have a certain sense of pride almost in that insultiveness. We will kind of cover that going forward, though, and exactly what insults them. So Korreds have this mystical understanding of stone and minerals, and it manifests in a few ways. And as you could guess, they tend to live underground. Now, they can seemingly smell veins of metal and precious stones. They can feel the rising and falling of bedrock under the earth. They can sense where caves lie. And remember miles upon miles of pathways beneath ground. Secret doors in rock and ground are as obvious as a window to them. And they can also fling stones far larger than it seems they should be able to, shape stone as if it were clay, and even swim through rock as if it were water, and conjure up elementals of earth. And they even gain supernatural strength by simply standing on the ground.
I'm very interested to see if these are like common creatures or if this is like a very like a dwarven deity.
They are not. I can assure you they're not a dwarven deity at all.
'Cause everything you said there seems to be wicked OP. I already
Seriously?
cannot fathom what their CR is.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's all very dramatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I wrote in here, but wait, there's more. Did I mention they have magical hair? Because they do. I promise you, they do.
Is it magical?
Mostly,
like whiskers are magical? They know how big how large of a tunnel they can fit in?
No, far more powerful than that, actually. So they are mostly covered in hair, like across their whole bodies, but the hair on their head specifically has magical properties. When cut, the hair transforms into the material that was used to cut it. So,
okay.
to this end, Korreds often cut their hair with iron shears, weaving the metal threads into metallic rope.
Oh, cool.
They also have the power to control and manipulate these strands and these ropes, and they use it to bind or snake around objects or creatures. They have a very deep pride in their hair and take great offense to anyone attempting to cut it without their permission.
All right.
So, yeah, a big part of their culture.
I just can't imagine a party of adventurers sneaking up on a cord with a pair of shears, like golden scissors, you know?
Yeah, for seriously. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because there's a quote. The quote given in Volo's guide is this. There's a legend about a merchant who tried to cut a Korred's hair with golden shears. The Korred fed him those shears, from his swallow to his sitter.
Oh my god. I thought that was just some trash that I made up. Holy fuck.
Nope. Straight in the book.
Take it down a notch.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually kind of love that the way that's written. It's certainly not a common way of speaking, but fed on those shears from swallow to sitter, like that really conjures up some gruesome imagery, in a very kind of lighthearted way almost. But I mean, that's basically Korreds in a nutshell for 5e.
So I'm still having a hard time getting over that my bullshit was canon.
I mean, I was wondering if you were going to pick up on that at all, because at first when I said, the material that's used to cut the hair, you were like, okay. And then I gave you the example, and then I was like, okay, maybe the mind's going to start going, because, lots of things can cut, right? So it's a very interesting property to these creatures. And that's something that should be, people's minds should play with, I think. I'm going to give a little bit more here I have a few bullet points on stuff that comes from 3 different sources. One is a Dragon Magazine issue 119 article called "The Ecology of the Korred." Also from Monster Manual 2 from 1st edition, and Monstrous Compendium Volume 1 from 2nd edition. That's where all this next information kind of comes from. And I really like it. It just kind of expands on the culture and lore of these creatures. But Korreds were known to be mostly vegetarian, though they did occasionally catch small game with snares or fish with nets made from their hair, which makes sense. They're quite they put that to tremendous use. If bigger game is targeted, they would then use their ability to summon earth elementals to this end. Oh. And then when it comes to their ceremonial dancing, it's kind of glossed over in 5e as something they just do on a weekly basis. There's a little more to it in the older editions. And they basically dance in tribute to their patron deity, Tapan the Undying, whose symbol is that of a laughing mouth. And the dance involved bone flutes, harps, and slap drums, and not just pounding on stone. And these dances, and they did happen weekly, were quite magical in their nature and very ritualistic. They were literally a magical ritual and potentially very dangerous. They involved so those involved in the dance actually had their energy sapped from them, and then that energy was transferred to their patron deity. And it was actually very possible to die during these ritual performances, as these dances, these performances slowly grew into like wild frenzies, and more energy was like pulled out of them. And aged and mortally wounded Korreds would actually seek to literally dance themselves to death in honor of their god. And on occasion, some Korreds would actually force captives they had to dance. And if these captives were not Fae, their life essence was drained at a dramatically faster rate.
So it's like the D&D version of a Much Music video dance in your teens.
Exactly.
So my other question after this is, what is their goddamn alignment? Like, now I can't figure out their CR or their alignment. This is wild.
Right. They're really gnarly, eh? I can't. Now I just can't wait to get to the stat block. But just a little bit more on that. Once the dancing actually did subside, they would have a great feast and drink. Like berry wine and stuff. It didn't say this.
I remember vodka coolers and McDonald's. Yeah.
I would assume that it was to sort of regain some of that energy that's sapped from them. And beyond Earth elementals like the Galebdur, Korreds, like a lot of Fae, were known to tolerate some Rangers, Druids, or Elves. Those
Right.
sort of akin to nature and the Fae.
Yeah, like a Gloomstalker or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there was even mention of them occasionally consorting or even mating with Oreads, which were essentially like a dryad, but of the mountains.
Okay,
So very,
cool.
very earth and stone version, yeah. But yeah, that's the old D&D lore on these guys.
That's pretty intense. Like,
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
they don't really do anything that's like moot or mundane. Every bit of that lore, very similar to the Red Cap from last week, is really fucking intense.
Yeah, it really is, eh? It's just like with a very particular purpose and, to the death, I guess.
Yeah.
To someone's death.
Sandstorm by Darude playing, just going for it.
Oh, man. So I'm already read you the Volo quote. It's gold. But from there, I gotta say, not much for cultural folklore.
I think I'd be surprised if there was.
Light.
Like Rumpelstiltskin, and then that's what? That's it, right?
Why Rumpelstiltskin?
Isn't she the one who sewed her hair in the tower? to make the ladder?
What? What are you talking about?
Is she not the one who made a ladder out of her hair?
No, that's Rapunzel.
Who the fuck is Rumpelstiltskin then? Is that a real thing? Did I just make that?
Yeah,
up?
he's like a dude who like shows up. What's the Rumpelstiltskin story? It's like he shows up and promises someone that he will teach them how to spin gold on a loom if they can guess his name in 3 tries or something like that. Like,
all right,
that's a very, very probably slightly incorrect rendition of Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelpunzel then, whatever.
This is the mirror image of the Rumpelpunzel tale. Obviously,
that old ditty. Okay, what little cultural lore do we have here? That as long as I'm not butchering fairy tales.
This comes from Breton folklore, Breton folklore is specifically from Brittany, which is a peninsula and cultural region in the west of France. And in this folklore, they are called Korrigans. That's Korrigan. And it
like the
literally
one from
means
StarCraft.
Right. No, not Kerrigan. That's Kerrigan.
Oh,
I went there
man.
several times.
I'm just fucking everything up today.
You know what? You're fired. Again. Welcome to, what did I call it last time? Oh, God, what was the name?
Encounter
fun
Me.
fact. Okay. That's right. Oh, my God. Encounter Me. Welcome to Encounter Me with Freeman, who's his what's-a-diced. Fuck's sake. Sorry, let me get back on track here. That was good. So Korrigans means fairy or dwarf-like spirit. Actually, very literally, it means small dwarf, or Kor means dwarf. ig means diminutive, and suffix is what's called a hypocorism. Sorry. Which is a pet name, essentially. So similar, it's like in the same vein of like, when you call Robert Bob, you kind of give a pet name kind of addition to something. And it's very closely related to the Cornish word korrick, which means gnome. And of course, there are a boatload of spelling and name variations and derivations for like Corrigan. There's tons of them. Some of them don't even resemble Corrigan, but they all sort of mean the same thing.
Okay.
But specifically, and you'll quickly find that there's really not much to go on here for this creature, but there's a fellow named Theodore de Villemarque who uses the term for Corrigan interchangeably with fairy, and distinguishes them from dwarves specifically, which were known as nains. And we're talking dwarves like in that fantastical sense, of course, right? Like a sort of mystical being,
not
similar
the slur.
to like, yeah, exactly. In that sort of Scandinavian Norse kind of lore, and he talks about them in his collection of songs known as Barzaz Braze. Definitely no way I'm saying that right, but so he mentions them quite a bit, but again, interchangeably with fairy and very distinguishedly different from dwarves or nains. However, a writer, I believe it was an American writer, Walter Evans Wentz, actually argued in his book, The Fairy Faith in Celtic Countries, that there is actually absolutely no clear distinction between Corrigans and nains. And beyond this, the only real connection that I could find was that there was a penchant for dance within these stories. And in some cases, some of them having beautiful hair, but usually in those cases, they were like so far removed from comparing them to these D&D creatures that it kind of just didn't really add up. But that's literally it.
Wow.
Like references to hair, dancing, fairies is bet the only thing that seems to be shared. Otherwise, Korreds seem to be wholly unique to D&D.
So these are another Gygax creation where I mean, at this point, we're pretty sure there's no relation to Kevin Corrigan, so that's that leaves us with almost nothing. Crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So polar opposite of last week's episode, where it was like just not even cherry picked, just like directly pulled,
Yeah.
A couple things
absolutely.
removed. This one's like, that's all I could find, slightly similar name.
Yeah, this is just a word.
Related to fairies. I mean, you did say they look like dwarves. A mention of dwarf in, translations, that's it.
Yeah.
What's going on at all.
Wild.
There was more I could have done with that and wrote down, but it actually felt like redundant, most of it. I was like, literally, the only purpose of writing it down would have been to show that they don't connect, which just didn't make sense to me. It's all over the place.
It's not really the format of our show.
Not really, no.
Today's episode is Hellhounds. We're going to talk about cats. Both quadruped mammals.
Have you heard about the heaven kitties? Yeah, that's that.
Right on. I mean, I like them so far. The lore is really cool. The D&D lore is really, really dope. And there's a lot of good story threads there that I really like. I like that we touched Caleb Durr, too, because I'm really interested in those creatures. Every time I see one, I think of Heavy Metal 2000. So I do want to cover them at some point.
For sure. Yeah, I've only ever employed them when we were doing the scenarios for Libris Arcana, which have finished. I did employ one in one of my scenarios.
A Korred.
I thought it was pretty cool.
A Korred?
What's that?
A Korred?
No, the Caleb Durr.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's...
And I think, off the top of my head, I think they're a little bit higher CR. I think they're a pretty powerful creature, but definitely something we should cover in the future. That'd be fun.
Yeah. We'll throw that on the list for sure.
But that brings us to...
I was trying real hard, but I didn't have a
livers.
bad segue this time.
So I mean,
Trying to buy myself some time by talking about Caleb Durr to think of something. Nothing.
He only goes for the bad segues. It won't even go for like a mundane one. It's gotta be real bad.
Yeah, I want it to hurt people. I want to get text messages from friends and family members, and I'll be honest with you, I often do.
Like, what the hell was that about? How dare you?
My brother has texted me multiple times that I'm so mad at you right now. And he just sends like a screen cap of the episode that he's listening to, and I'm like, I don't even remember what I said in that one, but
I bet you it was worth it.
they're all worth it. They're all worth it, Freeman.
Aren't they, though? Well, I mean, let's see. What CR do you think these guys are after all of that? I just really want to point out how much of the extra richness that from the older editions and stuff that was there that really like sold it for me. They're really cool to begin with. They've got lots going on, but like it's not fleshed out. And I really loved the extra info on the dancing and the ritual side of it and the frenzy they go into and what it does to them. I thought that was so cool. And it's like, it really makes you think about how they are, they do keep to their own, and there's probably a good reason why. They don't probably relate to many others than themselves, and because of this like just ingrained cultural and like worship that they have. I just think it's really gnarly. I think it's cool.
But I'll be honest with you, man. I legit have no fucking idea. I'm imagining they have some version of mountain walk or something like that, or rock stride, or whatever it's called in a different game. So that to me would be like a very high level ability, like to be able to walk through solid walls and shit. Right. Like even the Umber Hulk that we touched on a couple of weeks back had something like that, but it was just a burrow speed. So
right,
I have no fucking idea.
So what I will say about these guys is they have this sort of utilitarian purpose to them, and they have a strength that's also their weakness. But it would definitely take knowledge of these creatures to be able to discern it. So I'll explain that as we go.
Okay. Yeah, just walk me through the step block, because I got nothing for you. I'm a shitty co-host this week.
Useless. CR7. So not small. When I was first reading about them, I thought, it's a small fae, probably never going to be really above 4. 7. Pretty solid.
Yeah, it's honestly a little bit lighter than I thought it was going to be. With that stone walk or mountain walk or mountain walk, I just assumed that they would be, like 10 or 11.
Right. So they have 102 HP, AC 17 natural armor, small fae. They do have a walking speed of 30 feet. They have a burrow speed of 30 feet. Which we know by the lore, it's not in the stat block, but by the lore, is through stone. Which is, how you employ that really determines the dangerousness of it, or the offensiveness of it from the creature. But languages, they have lots of. They have actually quite a few: Dwarvish, Gnomish, Sylvan, Terran, and Undercommon.
Okay. I understand most of those. Why Gnomish? Because it's a derivative of Sylvan?
Possibly, I would imagine. We do have deep gnomes, and gnomes are closely related to the Fae, so that would probably be your two main factors. Dwarvish, sort of probably being relatively obvious because it's an underground thing. They tend to live in mountains and that sort of thing, and in stone.
Right. I also believe it's derisive of Terran. But I'm prepared to be corrected on that. It might be infernal that it's derisive of.
Dwarvish?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure. But was derisive the right word?
I don't know. A derivative of?
Derivative. That's it. That's got to be it. Derisive is like a negative thing in my head. I can't remember the definition, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it just threw me off. Don't make any derisive remarks, But yeah, and so I think they all add up. I think it's kind of interesting they don't know common, 'cause so many creatures just kind of have it just because. This one explicitly does not.
I mean, they know undercommon. That's a trade language. It makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. They have a strength of 23 with a +6.
Wow.
Yeah, and a con of 20 with a +5. Everything else is pretty middling. I guess it's kind of worth noting that they have a wisdom of 15. So +2, it's kind of middling, and the charisma is kind of low with a -1. But you know, they keep to themselves, and they are strong and fortitudinous. They have lots of fortitudinous.
Wrong game, brah.
They do have boosts to their athletics, perception, and stealth. Athletics being a +9, with the other two being a +5. They do have a natural damage resistance of non-magical versus the holy trinity of physical, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Mundane damage, I think, is how it's called.
The mundane trinity. Dark vision of 120 feet. Tremor sense of 120 feet.
I dig it.
Yeah. Basic passive perception of 15. So
get the
crazy.
Fuck out of here. Tremor sense and a passive perception of 15. Yeah. I don't care for passive perception though. But
yeah, employing it's a bit awkward. At least by the rules,
especially by something that can feel the ground moving underneath your footsteps. Yeah. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, passive perception is always about, you know, when you're not paying attention, I guess. Is how I've always looked at it, which I hate. I hate the phrasing on that even. You know, it just seems like a sloppy way to create a foundational mechanic. But
I get it, but the only time I believe that it would be relevant for this creature is if they're, you know, in water or in a vacuum. And
right.
In a 0G environment. And if you got a Korred in a 0G environment, it's probably already aware of you.
It's probably at peak perceiving parameters.
It's probably
triple P. It's like, what the fuck? Where's the ground?
Yeah,
Jesus.
I think that's a safe bet. I mean, write in with your scenarios, listeners, because I want to know how passive perception is relevant on an underground creature who can sense the vibrations in the stone.
So, I mean, well, actually, it's funny because we will touch on that. We will touch on that a little bit.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, just that general idea you've come up with there.
I reserve the right to revoke my sarcastic remark.
No, it has a proper mechanical play on there. It's what I referenced to its strength and weakness earlier. Well, we'll start with its abilities from there. It's got stone camouflage, which is you don't see it very often, but it's kind of a general one that you do see. Advantage on stealth checks to hide in rocky terrain. And here's one of the kickers. Or sorry, no, we'll skip. I'll skip ahead a bit. They have innate spellcasting. I know. I actually linked these just in case because they have an interesting list. So it's based on wisdom. So DC 13, it's quite low for a CR 17. So they are not casters, but at will they can cast Commune with Nature. So which means this is a 5th level spell, which is pretty high, I would say, for a CR 7. It's described as you briefly become one with nature, gain knowledge of surrounding territory in the outdoors. The spell gives you knowledge of the land within 3 miles of you. So this is like plays into that lore that they can just like detect caves and that sort of thing, right? So it's just that mechanical requirement from wizards yet again to make sure they have the proper ability to do what they've described. They also have meld into stone. You step into a stone object or surface large enough to fully contain your body, melding yourself and all equipment you carry with the stone for the duration.
Oh,
that's more or less they're swimming through stone burrow speed.
Yeah, so that's how they do it in 5e. Okay.
Yeah. And then they also have stone shape. Again, these are all at will.
That's
you
pretty
touch a stone
thematically
object.
appropriate, though. I like that one.
Yeah. You touch a stone object or medium size or smaller. You touch a stone object of medium size or smaller, or a section of stone no more than 5 feet in any dimension, and form it into any shape that suits your purpose. Again, molding stone like clay. So they just do these at will, like it's no big deal. On top of that, they have Conjure Elemental, which is also referenced in the lore, that they can conjure earth elementals, summon them. And this operates at 6th level. And but they are limited to the Galeb Dur, Gargoyle, Earth Elemental, or Zorn. That's all they can conjure.
Well, I mean, a Galeb Dur, a Zorn, like, and an Earth Elemental, like those are 5 and 6 CR. Like that's
they're
just
not
doubled
around.
the encounter.
Right. So like, and arguably these creatures could be considered their CR without summoning something. So, if you are to use these creatures and summon something, you can assume that your the CR of your encounter is not reflected by the CR of the Korred itself. You definitely have to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they I think it might be the first creature, I mean, that I can recall that has one of those sort of like unique named spells, Otto's Irresistible Dance.
One of the 7 spells. I don't care for that at all. I understand where it comes from thematically. I just don't. I don't think it's. I mean, maybe it's needed. I don't know the text of the spell, but I don't know how they would have learned one of the created spells.
Right. Right. That like such an incredibly fair sort of context to add to this. Now, here's how I picture it. So this spell, essentially, you target a single creature, and that target begins a comic dance, shuffling, tapping its feet, capering, so on and so forth. And the creature, creatures that can't be charmed are immune. But a dancing creature must use all its movement to dance without leaving its space, and it has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws and attack rolls. While the attack is affected by this spell, other creatures have advantage on attack rolls against it. As an action, a dancing creature makes a wisdom saving throw to regain control of itself. On a successful save, the spell ends. This is essentially a beefed up version of Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
Yeah. To shout out another famous podcast that's not ours, Taco in the Adventure Zone used this specific spell against a goddamn kraken. So that should tell you how powerful it is.
Right? It's a 6th level spell, so it's not messing around. Here's the thing: is that I would imagine I agree with you in that it seems a bit weird that they innately have one of the created spells, like the known created spells, but. It also does the usage of this, I would say, only makes sense for these creatures in that they are forced when they force their captives to do their ritualistic dance.
Yeah, I'm not complaining with it. My issue with it isn't thematic. I think thematically it's more than fair. I don't think it's necessary, which is what bothers me. Also, it's kind of a cop out, which also bothers me.
We have one more ability under the abilities list. It's called Command Hair.
Okay, cool.
And this is going to like sort of get into that area of action economy, because so Korreds essentially always carry with them a 50-foot long rope made from its own hair, and as a bonus action, they can command the rope within 30 feet to move up to 20 feet. And entangle a creature of size larger or smaller. Entangle being, in this case, a descriptive word, not a mechanical word. And it's a DC 13 Dex save, pretty low for fairly low for a CR7. Or the creature is grappled by the rope, though. And again, DC 13 to escape. Until the grapple ends, the target is considered restrained. As a bonus action, they can, of course, release it. It's also released if the Korred is killed or incapacitated. The rope itself has an AC of 20 HP, and it also recovers 1 HP at the start of the Korred's turn, so long as the Korred is alive and has 1 HP itself. So it constantly revivifies itself. And then if it is reduced to 0 HP, the rope is completely destroyed. So pretty cool mechanic. Lots of utility there. Lots of options.
I really dig that one.
So there's just a really good example of how these abilities do sometimes come with action economy. In this case, it's specified, unlike the innate spellcasting.
Yeah, so I've been quickly going through some like Reddit posts and D&D Beyond and that stuff, and unless otherwise specified, it acts as the spell seems to be the consensus. So it does take the action economy that the spell does.
That makes the most sense to me because, like you said, otherwise creatures are way more powerful than I ever knew.
Yeah,
and we just know that's not the 5e case. That's not how they operate.
For sure. So I stand by my Patreon exclusive
criticisms
rant. I mean, it's a glaring criticism. It's anyway. I love the command here. I think it's great. It has the action economy. It's got its AC. It's got its HP. I love that it regains HP. That's so cool.
What an interesting thing, eh? Yeah.
It kind of acts as the spell command rope, which is dope. But it's not listed as a spell. That's also fantastic.
That's even better. Yeah, a really good example as to why those spells don't need to be listed in that way. It's lazy, like you said. It's fucking lazy.
It is a little bit. Yeah, I think command rope is actually a Pathfinder spell, but this is essentially that spell.
I have to wonder if Wizards just thought, oh, you know what? It'll be easier for the DMs if we just plug them in as spells because they'll already know them.
There's no way anybody at that company thought opening 2 books at the same time was easier than writing it the fuck down. But I'm going to keep going unless you stop me here. So let's get to these attacks.
So I'm going to say this right now, in case I have a hard time cutting that. Whoever's listening right now, we cut a whole bunch of rant, and I'm going to continue on with the stat block.
Yeah.
It might just be a really awkward cut, but here's your reason why. We'll have it available on Patreon. Where and fair warning, we just kind of shit on Wizards.
Honestly, for this one, if you just want to hear it, shoot us an email. We'll just email it to you because everybody out there, I feel like everybody out there needs to hear it.
Sorry, I shouldn't say we shit on Wizards. We just shit on the construction of the basic foundation and construction of stat blocks in 5e. In 5e.
And that should be clear for every time. We wouldn't be running a podcast promoting Wizards of the Coast if we didn't like them. So every time we shit on Wizards, it's because they do. Oh God, I'm getting down that rabbit hole again. Take me to the attacks.
You know what? We don't run a podcast that promotes Wizards of the Coast. We run a podcast that discusses creatures that just happen to be in their game. At this point, let's be honest, that's what it is.
Well, it's promotion.
We're focused on them.
It's brand promotion.
But I mean, they'll see it as brand promotion, but we aren't promoting them because we kind of give them a lot of more shit than we do praise.
That's fair. Be honest. We'll never be owned by Wizards. We can tell you that. Certainly never be sponsored by them. I've blown that out of the water since day 2 with Yeti as a language.
Oh, so good. All right, Command Hair, pretty cool.
Really,
let's get into just the last little nitty gritty. Their attacks, and it's very simple.
Take me through them.
Very straightforward. Multi-attack, 2 attacks. One of them is with their Great Club, which I love that it's a Great Club because they're so small. It's not just a regular club. Or they hurl 2 rocks. So they do have that sort of extra strength to toss boulders. Not unlike Red Caps in the cultural lore, I guess, last week, eh?
Red Caps also mechanically can wield heavy weapons. They just don't get one.
Right, yeah. So being a higher CR, that obvious difference in strength was there. 23 versus I think it was 18, but but CR difference still very high for both CRs, which is really great.
So I have a question right off the bat. Is it specifically 2 Great Club or specifically 2 rocks, or is it just 2 attacks?
It's specifically 2 of one or the other, not in combination.
Right, so they can't open volley with a rock, close, and hit you with a club. Got it. Okay, cool.
Probably because it takes quite a bit of effort to do both. so probably maintaining a certain momentum. Be my very off the cuff justification.
Yeah, sure. It's a nerf. That's fine.
Sure.
I don't mind this kind of nerf. Like it's a mechanical nerf for no reason, but it keeps them within that CR range, so I'm fine with that.
Well, so here's the thing: is they're both a +9 to hit, based on strength, but here's the thing: is that I purposely glossed over one ability they have called Stone's Strength. So long as they're on the ground, they deal 2 extra damage dice with any weapon attack. So either of these attacks are affected by this. So long as they're grounded or in contact with the ground of some kind in whatever fashion, the Great Club on its own without that would just do 1d8 plus 6, but then it increases to 3d8 plus 6.
It's a CR6 creature. Just make it do 3d8 plus 6.
CR7.
But it's a CR7 creature. Just make it do 3d8 plus 6.
The Rock does 2d8 plus 6 or 4d8 plus 6 if they're grounded. So this is where
again,
I said
it's a
earlier,
CR7
their
creature.
Strength is like also a sort of weakness. So I agree that it should sort of just be 3d8 and 4d8, but I kind of like that. Like I said earlier, given some knowledge for the PCs, that they instead of having this as they only do this unless they're on the ground, think of it the other way around and be like, they do this damage, and if the PCs happen to know that if I take them off the ground, it'll make them less weak, it'll make them less potent or reduce their strength. If I can find a way to do that, that's a really cool thing for a player to like try and get their head around and try and sort something out. I honestly can't even think off the top of my head what they would do, because it does say specifically, I will say this, like stand on the ground, but I refuse to accept that. If they're prone, I would still give them the full damage. They gotta be not
garbage.
connected.
Yeah, I think we're talking about
by the wording. I'm pretty sure that's the case, but they gotta be not connected at all. But surely there's just the spell Levitate.
That's
something you wouldn't think you would ever cast on a creature. That's a time that would be really important to do. Or even what's the one? It's like a floating disc. Someone's floating disc.
Tensor.
Somehow, Tensor's floating disc. Somehow you cast that underneath their feet or something like that and get them off the ground. You could significantly reduce their potency.
Right.
So that's how I read that and look at that.
Tensor's floating disc might be a stretch, because that's specifically
I'd have to read the
designed
spell description.
I don't have the spell in front of me, but I know the history of it, and that's specifically designed to get treasure out of a dungeon.
It really is, yeah. But I mean,
well, Tensor was one of Gygax's players, so
there's no reason to think that you couldn't cast it underneath the Korreds' feet. It's suddenly.
There is, It in the I got it pulled up now, and
okay, all right.
It specifically says that it floats 3 feet above the ground.
Okay, perfect. So you cast it, and then someone grabs the cord, grapples it, and throws it on the disc, and then stands on the disc and fights it. It's ludicrous, but it's possible.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane with a +9 athletics and a 23 strength, but I love it.
Send the fighter in.
Send the NPC fighter in, I think is what you're saying here, because this Korred is going to end it.
You never know. You never know.
It's fine.
The possibilities are endless.
I really like this creature, but I really hate most of its stat block.
Okay.
It's just...
the command here is cool. Again, utility. Very, very utility. The innate spellcasting, redundant. In the ways that we described.
Yeah, and I fucking get rid of the stone strength. Like, it's bullshit. Like, it's designed... this creature is clearly designed to hit you with 3d8 plus 6.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... I can't think of a single CR7 creature that's going to hit you for fucking 15 damage. 14 damage, I'm sorry. Get out of here. Like, I get it. Mechanically, it's cool. And you as a DM are a creative person. You're a wonderful, interesting, and creative person. And if Levitate has been cast on this creature, it should probably just be doing half damage anyway because of the mechanics of being levitated.
I mean, that's. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but we're literally getting into Pathfinder perception of rules on that, right? Like you're no longer grounded, therefore, you're.
Well, that's how real world works.
Right. Yeah. Like physics is just going to stop you from being able to have a proper swing and stuff. I mean, but that's not 5e. It's just not 5e, right? So I agree. It's just like something in the back of my mind, just like, that makes more sense. But to me, that stone strength makes sense to offer that flavor on a mechanical level, in the way that it's presented. I mean, it does take a bit of perspective to like reverse it. Like I said, like don't see it as a bonus to the creature. See it as a possible exploit for the players. You don't have to give it to them, but if they find a way around it, they might find themselves in a pretty good position. And that's a rewarding experience for the players. Right?
But it's in the lore. Like that kind of stuff is in the lore, and I get spelling it out for people, but I don't know, man. I would just cut it as a GM. I get it. I respect what you're saying, and I see the value in it. But I can't be bothered with that kind of stuff when I'm running a game.
Right.
Like it's in the lore, so that's going to be in my notes. Is that they're stronger when they're connected to the ground. So it could just be as easy as half damage when they're not connected to the ground. Like it doesn't have to be this whole extra thing with stone strength, 2 extra damage die. So that's 2 sentences probably right there. And then when you get to the attacks, it's another sentence. Whereas when they're not connected to the ground,
damage in half. You're talking about efficiency here. It's easy to cut damage in half, but that's not even like with the difference in this stat block. It's not half. It's 2 damage.
No, I know it's not half, but it's also a CR7 creature. Like how heavily this thing gets nerfed if it's off the ground is wild. Granted, levitate is the way to go. That's a con save, I think. So it's probably not going to happen. But you get a bard with a rope and a pulley. Like pull this thing off the ground. We don't have a weight listed, so
that's 5e in a nutshell. On a stat block like this, well, I think we're not going to land on the same page at the end of this one. I don't think.
Oh no, you and I definitely won't. No.
A stat block like this, like that small mechanic is, to me, for 5e stat blocks goes, clever. It's not stupid. It's not redundant. It's not like plain and dumb. It's as far as 5e stat blocks go, that's actually clever. I like that there's an exploit in there for someone to find.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking that. Like, that's not my issue with it.
Literally the antithesis of most stat blocks for 5e. Oh, they have fucking magic resistance advantage on saving throws against magic and magic-like abilities. Like, that shit's unbelievably boring, and it's everywhere. Like, this is a physical, if not a physics-based, but very physical exploit, and it's so rare. And I love that. And I can only really imagine finding that exploit and using that exploit against this creature will feel really rewarding, especially after you get hit from a thrown rock for 48 plus 6.
But what I'm saying is I'm not talking about getting rid of this entirely. Like, what I would do is just leave it at the 3d8. Like, that's what their Great Club does. But when they're off the ground, they do half damage. That's alleviating 3 sentences for 1. That's almost the same thing, if not, mechanically it's a little bit better for the Korreds, but creatures who are CR7 don't hit for 14 damage. So, like, it buffs the creature.
I mean,
it also nerfs the creature, and it gives the same lore that this Stone Strike does, to me anyway.
Yeah. We're also looking at multi-attack with a +9 to hit, which is not small at CR7.
No,
not
for sure.
High, but it's not small. So,
I'm definitely taking that into account. I think it's 2 mechanics where it could just be 1.
Right.
And I don't see the value in having multiple of mechanics when, in my opinion, you can get the same flavor out of one mechanic.
Right.
That's my issue with it, is that it's too many steps.
Yet again, it's having everything in one place.
Yeah,
it's
too much.
You have your attacks that are directly affected by something that's elsewhere, which is in your abilities.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I'd get rid of, the meld into stone and the stone shape and all of the spells completely. I would conjure elemental, would go under the attacks. That would be one action. And then instead of a burrow speed, I would just say they can move through stone as if it were regular land. Like, it's one sentence. Like, why do I need to read the text of a spell in a different book?
It's all technicalities for those nitty gritty mechanical questions that exist somewhere. Like we don't get into those on this, really. Those nitty gritty,
right?
Extremely situational situations.
But you and I have had this conversation before, and we've landed on the same place. And 5e isn't a nitty gritty system. That's not how the system is designed.
Can be nitty gritty. Right. And
so, but those people should be playing a different game.
They should be playing Pathfinder.
It doesn't have to be Pathfinder, but this isn't that game. This isn't a rules-based game.
Well, again, just in case, another big cut of ranting and talking will no doubt have at least the reasonable amount available on Patreon. Yeah. But just in case...
here are the cliff notes of how I would change the Korreds. In addition to getting rid of the stone strength, I would get rid of all of the innate spellcasting, which I think is pretty clear from every stat block we've ever covered, as well as any of the rants that you decided to keep in. I would keep a meld into stone, but I would just move it as a caveat to their movement speed. They can just move through stone. Mm-hmm. I would keep the conjure elemental, but I would make it just a single action instead of a spell that can be countered, because I don't care for that, obviously.
Right. Still once per day, though.
Yeah, and getting rid of the stone strength, I would make their damage die the higher one, but anytime they weren't on the ground, it was half damage. And I think that's a fair, quick, and easy compromise, and it makes this creature... I think it would make this creature a lot smoother to run.
Right.
I would not run this creature as is. It just seems too difficult, and that's fine. But I haven't actually run one. Is what I should be saying here, because it's hard and borderline a little bit unfair of me to correct. And correct is probably the most arrogant word I could use there, to correct creatures that I've never run. What about you, buddy?
And writers and designers.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, D&D basic systems. Have you ever run these guys? Like, would you ever run these guys? And do you have any homebrew that's simpler than restructuring the entire stat block? Because that seems to be my thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've never used these guys either. I mean, I more or less agree with your changes. Just for an efficiency of, I mean, that to me just spells like, here's the best way to take the 5e standard and just clean it up so that you can make this creature easier to run. It would take, just with that little bit of advice, it would take almost no time to understand this creature on a mechanical level and employ them.
It would save them ink and printing.
Yeah, I think it's great advice. There's not much I would change either, really, beyond that, and beyond our differences on how they, in apologizing versus criticizing 5e stat blocks. But I think they're in general just a really cool and great creature, very niche, narrative wise. I do recall very lightly that on the Forgotten Realms wiki, they were something like, they tended to only exist really in the Feywild and in mountains in the Feywild. So, definitely a rarer creature.
I like that, though.
To come across, yeah. But yeah, I think they're cool. There's a cool utilitarian thing. There's a good adventure hook, even, or some kind of hook in trying to crop their hair for a certain purpose, using a certain material. Let your imagination go wild on that. I think they're neat.
Yeah, and above and beyond all my criticisms, I want to make it very clear that I really like this this creature. I really enjoy the lore. I really enjoy the integration of the lore for the most part. I love that hair robe. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it's neat, eh?
But the stats feel a little sloppy to me. or the layout and the mechanics of the stat block feel a little sloppy to me. More so than most creatures with innate spell casting.
Yeah.
But if you want to tell me that I'm wrong and that these creatures are perfect, I would love to hear it. You can hit me up on Twitter at EncounterPod. If you want to tell Freeman that he's right, you can hit him up on Instagram at encounter.pod. We have a Facebook page at EncounterPod. And if you liked it and you want to hear some outtakes, because I assure you there are some rants in there about, kind of fucking everything, you can hit us up for $5 a month on Patreon at EncounterPod. That'll get you access to that private feed where we share our bullshit, I guess is the best way to put that. And it's sporadic. It's not like constant. It doesn't come out with every episode. It doesn't come out every week. But you will also get
real meaty content.
Yeah.
Like today.
Exactly. And, that'll also get you a $5, that $5 tier will also get you a handwritten thank you letter and access to our show notes. $10 a month, you can suggest a creature, whether I like them, whether I hate them. Maybe you just suggest a creature with the most innate spellcasting to listen to me tear it apart for, so long. Or you can pick a completely different creature from a completely different system. We talk a lot about Pathfinder. We talk a lot about Starfinder. Maybe you want to hear us talk about the Sailor Moon RPG, and you want us to cover... I don't know how enemies work in that, but maybe you want us to cover Sailor Pluto or Tuxedo Mask. They're probably NPC statted up. I'll research that. I'm here for that.
James if you want to pay you, James would pay you to pick that.
I could just subscribe to the $10 mark on Patreon if I really wanted to do that.
You really could. Yeah. You're still the only one of the two of us that's actually subscribed to our own Patreon.
It's just to make sure it works. If you want to check out any back episodes or any of the reading materials we used to source this, those will be linked in the podcast description, as well as on our website at encounterthis.ca, where we have the entire back catalog of our old episodes, as well as all of our old reading lists. Most importantly, please rate and review and tell a friend, like anybody. If you've got a friend who hates having their hair cut, they should listen to this episode. If you've got a friend who hates spells, they should listen to this episode. You got a friend who's got a bone to pick with wizards? Tell them to hit me up on Twitter. But thank you and then for listening. And
at other people. I don't know how Twitter works, actually. Never mind.
But thank you for listening, and thank you for running D&D, because that's really what this comes down to, is we want to help inspire you to run more games. And if you use a Korred in your game, we abso-fucking-lutely want to hear about it. That's all I got.
You know what I got?
Ooh.
After this one, I'm cracking another beer.
Dangereux.
To your health, everyone. To your health.